Sorry, the end got messed up. Every time I go to share the stream to Rumble, it does that to me. It just cuts off the song. Anyway, yeah, never mind. Dave Murdos was just texting me. No show tonight? Well, we're a little late. Anyway, guys, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this beautiful blue-green globe of ours. Welcome to Real News Live. This is a special Toxically Masculine Tuesday edition. I'm your host, Mike Barrett, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joined, as I always am tonight. I'm drinking, by the way, a little Glenrennock scotch and some Dr. Pepper. Got my scotch and Dr. Pepper ready to go here. Gonna pour that sucker off. Joined, as I always am tonight, by the two of the three members of the usual crew. Steve Doran will not be joining us tonight. Steve, we just found out, has been quite ill all day. He has a high fever. And I just told his girlfriend, since he's refusing to go to the emergency room, to call an ambulance. Now, does that mean it's that serious? No, I don't know. But I am concerned about it. I am worried. Everybody pray for Steve to cooperate and go to the hospital. When you're over 50, which Steve is, you got to take this shit seriously. And hopefully he listens to his girlfriend, Deborah, and goes to the hospital, and we get word. As I get word tonight, she's going to send me some texts. I will keep you guys updated, but we are missing Steve, and we are praying for him tonight. However, I am joined by the man with whom you cannot, next to me there, stage right, left, whatever he is, the man who you cannot spend 4 hours in a car with without, first of all, driving the wheels off of it, and secondly, coming away smarter. Dr. Brooks Agnew, somewhere in the Carolinas. Brooks, how you doing tonight, and what are you drinking?
I'm doing great. It's been a normal 12-hour day, and I'm drinking coffee. Trying to level out my metabolism a little bit.
Smooth those muscles out a little bit, huh? Joined, of course, also by the cub reporter, the intrepid gonzo journalist of the show, and the producer, all-around super talented producer, Blake. I swear to God, when this RV thing happens, I'm going to hire you as media producer. You're going to be a stud. You're going to make a fortune.
Thank you.
TV's Blake Wally. Blake, how are you doing tonight? And what are you drinking? Did you finish that Maker's Mark yet?
I did, and I'm doing well. It's great to be here. And I bought a new bottle. It's something called Larceny.
Oh,
and I've heard this is a really good bang for the buck. So I'm curious to try this out. Yeah, new bottle. Very exciting.
Well, I will ask the original Mark Z, who was quite a connoisseur of whiskeys, whether he's ever heard of Larceny or not, and whether it is any good. Meantime, thank you guys all for being here. It's a little slow to get the audience built up because for some strange reason, I'm not allowed to preview setup on the Rumble channel. I'm not allowed to show you the Rumble channel. Like, set it up beforehand so it doesn't go on automatically. Anyway, nice to have you guys all here. Okay, let's get into the news, gentlemen. Let's start it up. Everything was going fine. Everything was going smooth. The news was great all across the board. And then the fucking Indians and Pakistanis got into are they fighting over Kashmir this time? They got into a fight. Let's check out what's going on. This is Alex Jones posted this about an hour ago. It's a Pakistani JF-17 fighter over Kashmir that gets India shot down after they bombed Pakistan 2 hours ago. This war is escalating. Yeah, it's going down. Okay. So what apparently happened is that India and Pakistan have been pissed off at each other for, I don't know, generations. And there were some terrorist attacks on India in the last few weeks and months, and the Indians finally had enough, and they struck back with a major missile attack. Here, let me show this instead. They struck back with a major missile attack on terrorist bases and various infrastructure in Pakistan. So the thing about this, guys, is that I don't know exactly what to make of it. Brooks, you're more of an expert on this kind of thing than I am. What would you say is the situation over there right now, and what are you hearing? People like Douglas McGregor are rather concerned with what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty tense. There's been a treaty in place since the 60s. In fact, it's one of the longest lasting treaties on the planet, and it's been pretty stable. And this treaty concerns water supply to Pakistan. India controls that water supply. They've agreed to let that water supply flow as long as Pakistan, behaves itself. Well, this terrorist attack happened in which Hindus were specifically targeted and shot.
Yep.
And the terrorists, the Pakistanis are saying, well, we had nothing to do with it. And the Indians are saying, well, you're harboring them and you know who they are and you're going to tell us who they are or we're going to cut off the water. Well, this threatens that very old, very stable treaty. If they cut off the water, a third of Pakistan will be in really big trouble really fast. So Pakistan has said, well, we will shoot first. And they have about 145 nuclear weapons. India has about 167. It's enough to turn that whole area into toast. We're talking hydrogen bombs now, not atom bombs. These are serious weapons. Both countries are very, very capable. And mutually assured destruction doesn't mean anything to them. So this is a very tense situation, and we're watching it hour by hour. Hopefully everybody's trying to tell them cooler heads shall prevail, but so far not so good.
Yeah, these are not two countries you ever wanted to be nuclear powers at all. And I don't know, Blake, there's a lot of stories of the Vimanas and the wars of the Anunnaki from 500,000 years ago, where they say the whole Indus Valley was nuked in some big major conflict. Are we repeating history here? Ancient extraterrestrial history, or what the hell do you think's going on? I don't know how you know about this situation right now, but hit it, Blake.
Well, not nearly as much as Brooks, so I'm glad he brought something to the table. I've heard about all those ancient wars, and perhaps that's even said why the north of Africa is all a big desert, and why would they build pyramids in the desert? So you never know what's going on with some of those ancient cultures, and it is sad, and it's a surprise. You figure if there's going to be a war breaking out, it would have something to do with Israel, Iran, or Russia, Ukraine, or even China, Taiwan, and then we get blindsided by the Pakistan and India, and both of them have nuclear weapons. Not a good thing. So, as Brooks says, I hope cooler heads prevail, because that could escalate quickly and affect everybody that lives on this planet.
Yeah. Well, not to be too much of a conspiracy theorist, but I do have a friend I call a mechanic, who is I've talked about before, who I think is fairly well known to people who follow our show. And he did tell me in the early different version of this show that Blake was on, he told me in January of 2020 that there's going to be a virus and they're going to use it to try to steal the election. And it's geared towards the Asian population, the Chinese population, and the Indian population. And the reason is that the powers that be, the evil that the evil men, want to reduce the population of the planet significantly. Now, COVID was supposed to kill 30 million people. It killed about, I don't know, 800,000 maybe worldwide, or 2 million, or whatever it is. But it really didn't, again, the hospital, as somebody pointed out this week, which I thought was interesting, Brooks, how many people did you ever hear of that died of COVID at home?
Well,
0. They all died in the hospital because of what was done to them in the hospital to supposedly treat COVID. But the point being that these people have wanted to reduce the population of the planet Earth by a significant amount for a long time, and they've been testing ways to do that within the last 5 years. So I don't know. Any comment on that wild theory? Do you think this is some bad actors behind the scenes trying to provoke this massive slaughter between these two countries?
Well, yeah. I mean, the whole idea of gain of function is kind of, I don't know, mundane. Like, it doesn't really mean anything to us. It's like saying turbocharged fuel injection. It just doesn't mean anything to the average person. But if you convert it to the actual language, which means global depopulation disease, that's what they're trying to come up with. Nature has a way of creating these diseases. Human bodies have been exposed to them for millions of years, and our immune system is a record of our collision with viruses every single day. So now we can fight off natural viruses. It's the man-made viruses that trick our immune system into doing other things, like filling up our lungs with mucus so that pneumonia will kill us, which will do it in about 3 or 5 days. If you can't get that mucus out of your lungs, you're in big trouble, especially if you're over 65.
Guys, I'm sorry. I just checked Rumble. It's playing. From my perspective, I would say use your phone, try to get different connection. I'm sorry that you're not getting a picture, because there's gonna be some fun ones tonight. So I don't know what's going on with that, but try Rumble, try the different platforms, try X. Both Blake, Wally, and I should be broadcasting on Twitter X. So try all of.
I've had pretty good luck with X too. Rumble's been doing some weird shit for the last 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
X, Twitch, and DLive seem to run pretty smoothly when Rumble's coughing.
Yeah, but is anybody actually on DLive? Does anybody ever go there? I don't know. All right, I have another curious thing that may or may not be connected. President Trump hosted John Carney, the new Canadian Prime Minister, in the Oval Office today, along with Marco Rubio and some other people. And of course, he said the same old shit. Audio, no video. Okay, let me double check. Yeah, it's not running for some reason. I see it's frozen, but. Yeah, some people say Rumble's working good. Some people say I don't know. I don't know how to help you guys with that. But he said, Canada is not for sale ever. Well, that's all relative, because it may not be for sale right now, but as Trump kind of said, I've heard that before, is what he basically said. I've heard that before. And here's the thing: we cut off your $238 billion in aid that you survive on from us, and guess what? You're up for sale. So that's a lot of BS. But he also made some more interesting comments, very interesting comments in the Oval Office. Let's check those out and listen to what President Trump had to say. And I want you to not only listen, I want you to observe, because this is really interesting what President Trump says right here.
And we'll have maybe before we're going to, as you know, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. We're going to UAE and Qatar. And that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets. And I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject. So you'll all be here. And we'll have maybe before we're going to, as you know, the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. We're going to UAE and Qatar. And that'll be, I guess, Monday night. Some of you are coming with us. I think before then we're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets. And I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject. So you'll all be here. And
So the question is, what is he fracking talking about? Here, Brooks, I'm sorry. Let me get the logo out of your face there. What the hell is he talking about? Now, one of the things that was pointed out to me is that if you look behind him in this video, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Notice on the right is an eagle with its head turned, and now that could be interpreted as an American eagle. But I'm also going to, for those of you who are fans of my other podcasts, I'm also going to point out that that same type of eagle appears on the flag of the nation of Iraq, with the head turned the same way, with the wings spread. Now, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a crazy guy. I'm looking for this everywhere. I admit that. But basically, there's three things that come to mind. Something financial, some sort of peace agreement, like Ukraine and Russia come to a peace agreement of some kind, or some sort of trade agreement, which is also financial throughout the world. So what I thought I would do is kind of go around and I've got a rumor that came across my desk or came to my ears today about this particular event. But he is, when he says this, he usually follows through with it. And he said the announcement could be, I think he said today or tomorrow. I think he said tomorrow. I'm hearing a lot of interesting things about tomorrow. And then he said Friday or Monday before we leave for the Middle East. So it might have something to do with the Middle East, and Iraq is in the Middle East, so who knows. But I would like to get your thoughts and speculations. I'll start with you, Blake, on what you think he might be talking about. And have you heard anything in the next 4 or 5 days? And by the way, the reason I bring this up as story number 2 is because I wonder if the escalating war situation between Pakistan and India isn't designed to undermine whatever it is President Trump wants to announce. But Blake, you got any thoughts on what he might be talking about?
Just the two that I think you've already mentioned, or at least one that either has something to do with Russia and Ukraine, which has been going on for a few years and would be very significant. And the other one is if there's a peace deal with Iran. That's one of the things that I have picked up from some of the people is that they're saying, this kind of ties together, that they're working a deal directly with Iran and they're excluding Bibi Netanyahu. That's what I've heard, and that's upset him, and partly because of Michael Waltz, the security guy. He's out from the administration, Michael Waltz, because he was allegedly wanting to cozy up with Bibi on bombing Iran, so they pushed him out. I can't confirm any of that, but it is plausible, and it would fit. And if we had an arrangement with Iran, that would be great.
Yeah, the Houthis basically kind of surrendered this week and said, "No more bombing, Mr. Trump. No more bombing." And I don't know if that's a good Houthi accent, but an Iranian peace deal could be very significant, which would also have something to do with financial resets. Brooks, any thoughts on what this announcement might be about?
Yes, I had some thoughts about it as soon as he said it, because I thought, well, it can't be anything recent because, this is something that's been festering or people have been trying to do for a generation and not got done.
He said for a long time, this is a problem.
So I don't think it's anything recent. So doing that, I went back and looked at some of the symbolism and what he's trying to say and how positive he's going to try to make it. And Trump is not the guy that's going to hang his hat on something really, really positive being political. He is going to hang his hat on it being financial. I honestly think it's the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. I think that's what it is, because the United States owns enough dinar that once it hits the actual trading market again, we can actually pay off half the national debt with one check.
Well, maybe even more than that. Brooks. So because we know what they say they hold in the sovereign wealth fund, we don't know what they really hold. So
this pulls so many people out of the ditch and pump so much capital into the market that Wall Street would become inconsequential at that point for a while.
Yeah,
or maybe 5 years.
and people, certainly have been waiting on that for a long time.
Well, the reason I say that Wall Street will become inconsequential is because Wall Street equals 401ks. Wall Street equals pension funds, retirements. This revaluation will pull so many millions of people out of the ditch that retirement accounts won't mean anything. That's what I mean when I say Wall Street will be inconsequential for about 5 years.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I'm excited that you think that. I will pass on a rumor that I heard for those of you who are currency folks, and tune in tomorrow to Real News Live with Mike Barra. No Jen this week. She made it very clear she's still on vacation the rest of the week. But I was told that that Iraqi nationals have been returning to the country to exchange, and that they were done on April 30th, and that those who are no longer citizens but are dual citizens are getting paid in the next 3 days. So I heard that. So that's exciting from those of us that hold that. Deb says she heard it could be Epstein related.
Don't think so.
I don't think so, because Trump is. I agree with you, Brooks. Trump is only this solid when it's financial. Because that's his area. That's what he really knows.
That's right.
But I heard another rumor that I'm going to share with you guys, which is also financial. Boy Dogs 2 says maybe he's going to finally open up Fort Knox. Well, let me tell you what I heard. I've heard they opened it up. There was quite a bit of gold missing. If you've been following the headlines the last few months, that there have been a lot of planes rumored to be carrying gold flying from the Middle East, from Italy, from Rome, from parts of the Middle East to America. And don't forget the 2017 World Tour right after Trump got inaugurated. Mm-hmm. Saudi Arabia, the Vatican, and the Crown of England, right? And don't forget that when Trump was with Queen Elizabeth, she motioned for him to walk in front of her, which of course the networks cut out, tried to make it look like he was being gauche, but that's a clear indication you are the superior. So the rumor has always been that Trump went and got our gold back from these countries, basically saying, if you don't give us our gold back, we're going to nuke you. But I don't know if that's true. But what I'm told is that there is a really high chance that we have now got the gold in there that we want, and that we're going to actually revalue the gold in Fort Knox to the current market price. Right now, I think it's valued at about $44 an ounce. And last time we checked in 1971, there was 8,100 metric tons in there. So think about it like this. How many ounces is there in a metric ton? Like 1 million? I don't know. I have no idea. I could ask Grok to tell me. But at $3,400 an ounce with very, very, we're talking about gobs of trillions of dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars of value. So it could be some sort of gold announcement. But here's the thing. We have a week. And before this happens, because he said it could be tomorrow, it could be Friday, or it could be Monday. So we should know by this time next week what it is. And I agree. I do think it's more likely to be financial than international agreements or something like that. But I'm sure he also has a backup plan to pivot to. Brooks, what were you going to do? The ad?
36,000 ounces.
36,000 ounces. So 36,000 times 3,400 is, I don't know, a lot of money. We'll let Brooks do the calculation. Brooks is the scientist, therefore we are going to let him do the math on this show.
$122,400,000.
$122,400,000. So
that's one metric ton. 1 metric ton.
Okay.
And
I think it's going to be more. It's got to be more.
8,100 metric tons.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So that's
about 9,914 billion ounces.
Yeah. So that's quite a bit. So Saudi Arabia capitulated and gave him the king's sword. That's correct.
Dollars.
I wonder if pilots know what they're transporting. Yes. Shane Mills thinks it will be XRP related. If you've heard of the 589 in the XRP community, that is Thursday, people. Moon is Thursday. That's a possibility, but XRP is a newfangled thing. And he did say this is something people have been waiting for a long time. So we don't know what it is, folks, but we are very, very interested in it. Now, let's move on to the next issue. The next issue is really interesting because, you know, the Trump administration is finally cracking down on a few people here and there. They're finally going after some folks. And this week it was stated that, according to reports from Democrat staffers on the Hill, that, quote, according to Insurrection Barbie, Hill staffers now see, you wait for it, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, as the leader of the party.
Because she's the number one money raiser right now.
And I don't know where this gauche picture came from. Oh, I see. Mike Barra posted this in response. This is AOC at the Cabinet Doge board meeting trying to cut a deal with Donald Trump. It is Toxically. Well, I don't think that's her real butt. We don't know what her butt really looks like.
It's wider than that.
It's probably I think it's about right. I think it's pretty close. But moving on from AOC's butt, AI butt there. Let's go down here a little bit. She went after Tom Homan just a day or so ago. Let's go down and listen to the report on the Laura Ingraham show of AOC going after Tom Homan and see what he has to say about it.
When we first did one of these seminars, Tom Homan, then acting director of ICE, said that he was going to threaten to refer me to DOJ because I'm using my free speech rights in order to advise people of their constitutionally guaranteed protections, and he may want to do it again today. And to that I say, come for me.
Tom. Come for me.
I take pleasure. I can live in her mind rent-free every day. But we all know exactly what she's doing. Like I just said, she's educating the worst of the worst how to invade law enforcement. But the tables have now turned. She's educating people how to get prosecuted. Because you have a final order. It is illegal to not comply with that order. It's a crime to take steps to not comply with ICE removal orders or not comply with ICE actions take you in custody. You can't hinder your own removal that was ordered by the federal judge. I would like AOC to read Title 8, United States Code 1253, because it's starting tomorrow.
Do you anticipate other arrests of other judges across the country who are pulling these shenanigans by sneaking them out the back, Jack?
I think some sanctuary cities, you're going to see more judges make a very bad decision. I've said from day one, you cannot support ICE. You can support sanctuary cities all you want. But if you cross that line of impediment, which is a felony, if you cross that line of knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien from ICE, that's a felony. We're going to ask the DOJ to prosecute. I'm not a prosecutor, but we're certainly going to ask for those prosecutions. You know, the Democrats said forever, no one's above the law. No one's above the law, but they want a different set of rules for illegal aliens. You said it in your monologue. The whole zero tolerance thing, right? They didn't want families separated when a parent was prosecuted. Kids can't go to jail with parents. But as a cop, when I started my career, I separated U.S. citizen families all the time when a U.S. citizen parent went to jail. U.S. citizen families are separated 1,000 times across this country every day. But they want a different set of rules for illegal aliens. And as far as removal of USC children, you're right. We sent 3 children with their mothers who requested their baby children go with them. If we didn't do it, then the story would be ISIS separating families again.
That is exactly right. Boys Dog says AOC is a ditzy idiot. And Rick says AOC should have been in cuffs 2 weeks ago. Well, let me tell you something, okay? AOC, baby, sweetie, come to Vegas. I'll put you in cuffs, no problem. Brooks, what do you think about the AOC controversy? And do you think they're going to prosecute her? I think they should, honestly. I mean, you know, she's my girlfriend, but I do think they should go after her because she's broken the law pretty clearly.
If they go after her now, she'll never be able to run for president because she'll be a convicted felon. The thing that you need to pay attention to here is that visitors to this country do not have constitutional rights. Illegal visitors to this country have less than constitutional rights. You don't have the right to sue anybody in court. You don't have the right to own property. You don't have the right to sign a contract. None of that. You do not have those rights in this country. The Constitution is only there to protect American citizens, not foreigners.
Well, what do you say about? I got into this exact argument with some people actually over on my Seahawk boy Mike Barra, my sports account, which I don't like to do politics over there. I prefer to keep it on my Twitter X, Mike Barra 333, capital N, capital B 333, Mike Barra 333. I like to keep those arguments over there, but I had the exact same argument. This guy goes out, he goes, well, it says the 12th Amendment or the 4th Amendment, whatever it is, says, no person shall be denied due process of law. And I'm like, they already had due process. They're illegal aliens. Once that's determined, that's their due process. They're done. So what do you say to that argument that it doesn't specifically say citizens? Because I agree with you. The Constitution only applies to U.S. citizens.
Trump's trying to get around that. He made a brilliant move this week by offering the $1,000 in cash once you're determined to be safely out of the country, and a free plane ticket. And if you register with the app and take advantage of the free plane ticket and the $1,000 in cash, if you don't have a criminal record, that is to say, if you've never broken any laws while you're here, you've been a good working person while you're here, you have a chance to come back to the United States. If you are deported by force, by ICE, you're never coming back. Yeah. So you're going to see that 1.3 million that have their going home orders because they've already had their day in court. They're going to self-deport. They don't want to get arrested. They don't want to get detained. They're going to pack up the minivan. They're going to go to the airport. They're going to load it up, get on the plane, take advantage of the free ticket, leave, get their $1,000, and then go right down to the consulate and try to apply to come back.
Yeah. This is weird. I am looking at YouTube, and all the YouTubes are frozen solid. I don't know why we're not.
By the way, there's a Democrat senator who tried to counter that today and said, why pay them to come out of the country, leave the country, fine them $5,000 and give them a green card or a work permit to stay here. And that's his counteraction to Trump's move. Now, neither one of these make any sense unless the border's closed, which the border is closed. So that's where Reagan got tricked by Tip O'Neill. Reagan said, look, I wanted these illegals out. Tip O'Neill said, well, we want amnesty. And Reagan said, well, I won't give you amnesty unless I get a wall to seal off the border. Tip O'Neill said, no problem. No problem. We'll give you the wall. So Reagan said, okay, I'll give the amnesty. And the wall never came.
No.
Tip O'Neill lied out his ass.
Because he's a Democrat.
Sits above his collar.
Yeah. His ass is right up there. TV's Blake Wally, what say you? Do you think that this is, a serious problem for AOC? And do you think that they're really going to go after her? Because it will look like they're just going after her because she's the Democrat frontrunner. That's possibly why they're trying to make her out to be the Democrat frontrunner, even though God knows why anybody would vote for her at all.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. And I remember, Sarah Palin took a lot of shit over the years for being crazy and dumb. But, she's a genius compared to AOC, and now the Democrats are lining up behind her. I don't understand how they could possibly resonate with any of her messaging. I can see how she might be appealing to some of the younger people, but I can't wrap my head around the fact that she could possibly be a front runner, and that they've set this this new standard with the illegal immigrants when we have so many problems here, so many people suffering here, that Democrats are supposed to be, for the working people, and yet prioritizing people that are not even from this country. So this is a very strange battle that they're waging, and I just don't understand. There's just no common sense with the liberals anymore. So
right.
Oh, it makes common sense. This is chapter 5 in the Clinton Manual for Self-Enrichment. It's called immunity. If you're running for office, they can't arrest you. It's seen as political retribution. You can do any fucking thing you want as long as you're running for office.
That is really interesting. So maybe that's what it is. But again, I don't see AOC as a primary target of this thing. At least not for me. There are a lot of other people who are a lot worse than her that I'd rather take down. But she seems like she's provoking it, which is what I think is interesting. So she may yet have to
let her be. Let her be the titular head of the DNC. Did I say tit? I did say
titular. You did say
let
tit.
her be the titular head of the DNC. Right. I love it.
She may yet. All right, let's flip to something a little bit more interesting. Well, maybe not even more interesting, but certainly not more interesting than AOC's booty. That's for sure. But it is Toxically Masculine Tuesday. There is a nomination for the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, which is on the board. It's a gentleman named Ed Martin, who is a full-on MAGA, by-the-law Republican, and the Democrats and the media are doing everything they can to stop him, and they are being joined by the Rhino Republicans. Why? Because this guy is going to go scorched earth on Washington, D.C., and everyone who has committed a crime is going to go down for it. And get this, some Republicans, like Tom Tillis, are already coming out and saying they're not going to support him. They're not going to vote for him. And guess what? If they can delay this a couple of more weeks, I think till the end of the month, then guess who gets to appoint the temporary guy? It is Judge Boasberg, the most corrupt judge in the country, the evil fucking demon on the right, the guy who has led the prosecutions against Donald Trump, who's issued injunction after injunction, even though he's been shot down by the Supreme Court. He continues to try to enforce injunctions that have already been shut down by the Supreme Court. Let's take a listen to what dickhead Tom Tillis has to say.
It sounds like your concerns were not of the. But let me be very clear, though. Mr. Martin did a good job of explaining the one area that I think he's probably right, that there were some people that were over-prosecuted. But there were some, 200 or 300 of them, that should have never gotten a pardon, and he agreed with that. But the disagreement there had more to do. If Mr. Martin were being put forth as a U.S. attorney for any district except the district where January 6th happened, the protest happened, I'd probably support him, but not in this district.
When you say he's not being advanced to the markup, was he operating under that understanding that he's not being advanced through to a markup?
I think Mr. Martin, I'm sure they're looking through it. I mean, be clear, some of the deadline has to do with the nation.
As Trump called you. It sounds like you're...
Okay, so this dickbag is trying to scuttle the nomination. Why? Because of January 6th. Well, what's so important about January 6th? It will expose the entire deep state apparatus, everyone that was involved in putting on the fake insurrection. But guess what? Come to the rescue. Steve Bannon says, hey, you know what?
It's very well respected. He's kind of one of these cruise-like guys with the brain and the big law schools and the Ivy League. He's very respected on judiciary. When Josh Hawley just said, hey, he's going to get a vote in committee, he's going to get out of committee, he's going to go to the floor, and he's going to pass on the floor.
Yep.
That you should listen, because right now it looks like an extremely heavy lift. I got Jillian Barber here from Done With That, which is critically important given what Hawley just said about Medicaid and other things. I want to make sure we're going to need you at the ramparts. The work you guys have done on Ed Martin just in the last couple of days have been amazing. I mean, we're in this place right now where it's close or could happen because of you, because it looked pretty grim. This is why the president jumped in yesterday on Truth Social. It looked grim until the War Room Posse through Article 3 and also over with the Bill Blaster got engaged here. And by the way, Josh Hawley just made news in regard to
Okay,
Josh
so Hawley says it's going to go through regardless. What do you guys think? Blake, any thoughts on this? And isn't it pretty clear that they're really just trying to scuttle this because this guy is going to expose January 6th?
Yeah, that could very well be. Something's got to be involved here. There's got to be something at play. And I don't know why this Boasberg keeps popping up like he's a Supreme Court justice. He's a lower court guy. So why does he have so much power, and why does he keep meddling with things on behalf of the people?
And Blake, even more than that, how does he keep getting assigned
right
to Trump cases? Because it's supposed to be random, which it clearly isn't random. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I agree with you. That shouldn't be random, but yet how is he possibly getting involved in every one of these like major cases? So he's clearly on their side. He's an asset for the deep state, and they're trying to do whatever they can. So hopefully this is another thing that fails, and it's good that we're it's under the public scrutiny that it's become a story. And yeah, I'm sure the swamp creatures are panicking now that they're not in control, and they are worried about what the future holds, and it doesn't look good for them, and they are trying to make a move here. So we shall see. Again, I'll let the legal experts battle it out. But yeah, interesting story.
Yeah. Blake, Boasberg would be at the top of my list for people I'd rather see them go after right now than AOC. AOC can wait. But what is the problem with this guy, this Boasberg, and what do you think is the real issue here with Ed Martin?
Well, it's a judicial coup, and it's being led by men who have tremendous egos inside those black robes with their little magic mallets, and they're trying to use the judiciary to overcome the executive branch. This was discussed in Federalist Paper number 81 by Hamilton in great depth. He greatly worried about the Supreme Court getting corrupt individuals appointed for life. They may lie to get on or deceive to get on the court. And once they're on the court, of course, they can't be removed except by being impeached through Congress. And that has never happened that I know of. And then use the judiciary to counteract the executive, because Hamilton feared that what the Supreme Court would do is try to market itself, or at least portray itself to the American people as the final arbiter of what is or is not constitutional. Right. And we know, of course, that the Supreme Court has got it right every single time. Wrong. From Dred Scott on, there have been 147, I believe, horrible decisions from the Supreme Court that they themselves have reversed. And this judicial coup is going to go down in history as one of the worst moves by the court or by the district court in U.S. history. The bad news is it could actually end up in impeachments of judges. That's bad. We don't want to see that happen.
Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
I would rather see the district court dissolved than
me too. Just dissolve it. Right. And that's the thing too, is that you have the situation where the courts, people have tried to convince you that the courts have the final say on everything. No, that would make them the most powerful branch of the government. They are three separate but co-equal branches of government. The idea is if Congress and the president agree on something, the Supreme Court is supposed to have the integrity to say, no, if you look at the Constitution, that's not really constitutional. Like, I don't know, the Patriot Act, say that that's not constitutional, rule it that way. And then they're supposed to go back to the president and the Congress to fix the problems that the Supreme Court identifies. That's all they're supposed to be able to do, is say, this is not legal, so you can't enact this law.
And if it is a problem, the president and Congress can amend the Constitution, which, by the way, they have done 27 times.
Yeah. And what needs to happen, of course, is a constitutional convention, which some people say we had 5 years ago, where you sort of redefine the Constitution in language that is absolutely clear and cannot be disputed. That would be, although I personally think that, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed is about as clear as it can fucking get. But yet somehow
the shall nots are very few and far between in the Constitution, and they're immovable. But that's not saying that we don't need to amend the Constitution, because the Commerce Clause is very vague, and this state of emergency that we've been in since 1933 has totally screwed up our government and made it turn into a bureaucracy instead of a republic.
Yep, exactly. All right, so we also now have, we may not have the Epstein files, guys, but we do have the Diddy trial. It began this week. There's some interesting stuff coming out in the jury selection. Let's take a quick look at this and talk about what has been going on there.
Jury selection's underway for Sean Diddy Combs in his sex trafficking trial in New York City. Now, dozens of New Yorkers came to court in Manhattan. They previously filled out questionnaires, and then lawyers and the judge questioned them individually about their understanding and awareness of the case and the evidence, and also whether they were familiar with any of the many, many names that may come up during this trial. Some of those names include celebrities, musicians, and actors. Combs has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering charges. During the jury selection process, some prospective jurors said they had seen some of the key pieces of evidence that'll be displayed at this trial. Several said they had watched the video, the now infamous video of Combs assaulting his then girlfriend Cassie at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. One woman who said she saw a still image of that video called it damning evidence. That woman was not selected for the jury. The judge said he expects this trial to take 8 weeks, and prosecutors say they expect to call 4 accusers to the witness stand. Jury selection's underway.
Well, let's hope that those 4 accusers are not named Virginia Giuffre. So, all right, Blake, where do you think this puts us in a situation? And this is something I don't get, Blake or Brooks. Why is he being tried in New York when everything happened in Hollywood? I don't think I get that.
I don't get it either.
Blake, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I wish there was like a better selection process for that, because as far as I understand, they're just trying to get people that are kind of neutral. They don't know that much about what's going on, but what do they know about anything that's going on with anything? So kind of question like people's, intelligence or their critical thinking when they're not aware of who a lot of these people are, so they can go into it sort of in an unbiased fashion. But I don't know if there's other people that they could select who, are just objective observers and could be more useful in a situation, like, especially with a high profile case like this.
They should have it in Tennessee. They're pretty clueless.
Yeah. Maybe you could be on the jury, Blake, and be famous.
Yeah, I hope so. The most clueless guy in the jury. That's my goal.
Brooks, well, I know who P. Diddy is, or Puff Daddy, or whatever the fuck his name used to be. Yeah. That's about it. I pay no attention to rap and hip hop and shit like that. But I don't know. Brooks, what do you think about this case, and where do you think it's going?
Well, this case is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so many people in Hollywood that know what went on. They didn't participate in it, and consequently, some of their careers kind of got stalled because they wouldn't participate in it. But everybody in Hollywood knows what goes on at a P. Diddy freak off, and it's sort of like Harvey Weinstein. You don't go see him privately in the office unless you want an Oscar-winning role in a play and you're willing to take your clothes off to get it. A lot of actresses were not willing to do that. They didn't get the parts. So they know what the process is. And quite frankly, half of Hollywood is shocked that P. Diddy's actually going to trial. They thought he'd be dead by now.
Yeah. And there are some people being named. Michael B. Jordan, who I fucking hate anyway, and Mike Myers. And
well, look what they did to Justin Bieber and to Miley Cyrus and all these young, very talented people that just got destroyed by being ground up in this system.
Yeah, and they're complete nightmares now. So we'll see if that goes anywhere. And it does feel like maybe they're trying to shift the focus to the P. Diddy thing to take the focus off of the political pressure that's being applied by the Epstein case, which still they are holding back. Any thoughts, either one of you guys? Any thoughts on just what is going on with the Epstein files? Are they trying to bury them? Are they trying to run out the statute of limitations? What are they trying to do? Any thoughts?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Blake.
absolutely. It's too politically damning, and it would ruin the way that businesses run in DC. If that many people, I mean, they talk about even like, the suicide weekend kind of effect. If that many people are caught up in this, and that's going to just rock this country with how much negativity is going to come out and these consequences that we had not known. It's going to rattle everything. And it's not just, DC, it's the music industry and Hollywood, and so many powerful people, household name people are going to get entangled in this, and it's going to freak people out. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's like you can make it to a certain level in Hollywood on talent alone, but then after that, you got to do some stuff. You've got to, as Laurence Olivier said in Spartacus, the Stanley Kubrick film in 1961, you have to debase yourself before Hollywood to become a really big star. So that's just the way it is.
Humiliation rituals. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, Mike knows this as well as I do. We've been trying to get, films and TV specials and things like that done on the work that we've done. And what it takes really is the magic lunch. You have to get the magic lunch with the right producer, the right director, the right actor. And in order to get that magic lunch, sometimes you have to compromise yourself. And if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get that magic lunch. Quite frankly, the general public doesn't give a rat's ass what happens in Hollywood. They could care less if the whole place crashes.
Yeah.
Politics is different. When you're talking generals and senators and congressmen, you're talking mayors and governors and diplomats grab-assing in the hot tub with Menudo, you're talking about shaking national security. That people do care about. That's why none of the tapes, pictures, videos have made it into public domain.
Yeah, and it's just time for the lid to come off a whole bunch of this stuff. And I wish I remember Channing Tatum. I'm just sitting there watching movies, and all of a sudden I saw Channing Tatum, and I'm like, who the fuck is Channing Tatum? Why is suddenly this guy like all of a sudden they're making him a star? They're like trying to push him out there, and of course he's very untalented. He's reasonably good looking, but I think it's pretty clear he shared parts of himself with a bunch of Jewish businessmen in Hollywood to get these parts. It's pretty obvious that that's the case, and it's just like. I'm like, these people just come out of nowhere. It's not like they have a big hit movie and a breakthrough role. Just all of a sudden they're in everything. Jeremy Renner is another prime example of a guy who just all of a sudden is in everything. And I'm like, who is this guy with the funky nose again? I don't know where this stuff comes from. It's crazy. It's weird. It needs to be exposed. Now, meantime, I would like to say to everyone who, who worships, everyone who participates. May the 4th be with you. We just passed through May the 4th, the date of the debut of Star Wars. I posted some really cool memes of hot girls like Anna Cherie and Darth Vader outfits. And I just have to go back to it. My favorite Star Wars movie. I loved Rogue One. I love The Empire Strikes Back. But my favorite Star Wars movie is, of course, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Pope. And there we are with the new Pope, Donald Trump, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Pope. This is not one that Trump displayed, but somebody else made it. He did do a meme of himself, reposted a meme of himself as the Pope. They tried to give him a hard time, and he said, look, it's a joke, folks, okay? Just relax. Yep. Freaking joke.
And he said, you are not the Rebel Alliance. You're the Empire.
Yeah, you're the Empire. He said, you are not. Now I have to go find that clip, Brooks. Now you're going to make me go find that clip.
He said, by the way, I didn't have anything to do with that picture.
But even though he's CIA, I do like Jack Posobiec, even though he's CIA. He did have something to say about the Pope this week, just a day or so ago, just today. Let's listen to Jack, who is a practicing Catholic who, God knows why, did not circumcise his boys. But let's listen to him talk about the situation in Rome right now, because they're going to pick a new pope this week.
Yep.
Well, folks, the conclave is set to begin tomorrow. And so for a lot of people now, if you're Catholic like me, obviously this is a big deal. For conservative Catholics, we're really pushing for a conservative a conservative pope. We want someone who is not going to continue in this progressive vein like we saw over the last decade plus under Francis. We want that return to tradition. Of course, the progressives have their candidate up in Parolin. They want him to be a successor, a direct successor. He's the current Secretary of the Vatican to Francis. But then there's also a number of compromise candidates that could be found in the middle. Also a rumor going around, pretty serious rumor about Parolin regarding a health issue, apparently a blood pressure issue that he had at one point. And they were saying that he appeared stiff at one of the early pre-conclave meetings. But the conclave will kick off tomorrow. And so for folks out there who say, well, what does that matter to me? You know, I'm not Catholic, you know, it's just whatever. It's just this, you know, this other denomination that I'm not involved with, or you might not even be Christian, and say, well, you know what, this is a world leader, okay? This is someone that is going to have a huge impact over billions of people, I think 1.5 billion people in the world. So they matter, and this will have an effect on you, whether you're Catholic or not.
That's an absolutely great point, I think, by Posobiec. And Brooks, you know, tell us again, he just did, why this is important and why it's important to have a conservative pope. I think if the Catholic Church is going to have any future, they have to go back to the future and start up again.
Well, because a conservative pope would do away with DEI, would do away with transsexuals being elevated. I mean, they've always been there. Men dressing in women's clothing have been there since the dawn of time. Wearing feathers or makeup or, you know, women's clothing or whatever. Men get sexually aroused by doing it, so they do it. But now what they're doing is they're going and victimizing children.
Just to clarify, not all men.
Not all men. Yeah.
Not all.
But there's a big, huge difference in the motivation of a man who likes to dress as a woman and a woman who wants to be a man. There's a huge difference in the hormonal drive to get this done. Women who want to be men are angry and they will kill you. Men who want to be women just want to be aroused, and that's what it boils down to.
Bruce Jenner. Well,
but the Pope authorizing and endorsing going after kids and giving them puberty blockers because they happen to be in the wrong body, that's evil. And the new Pope has got to put a stop to that. He's got to come out against that.
Yeah, can we have a good Pope instead of an evil Pope? That conversation went a direction I did not want to go, Brooks. But Blake, what are your thoughts on Star Wars Episode 4, A New Pope?
Well, that's a great meme. I love the AI. I'm not a religious guy, but I did go to Catholic school. I was baptized Catholic. I'm probably more spiritual, but not religious. I am a huge fan of I hope Jesus is real. I hope he comes back. I'm a huge fan, but I would say that I don't think he would be a fan of the Catholic Church or the Pope or the country of Israel. So I think that would be kind of a rude awakening for people if he did come back. However, the Pope is still a influential and powerful position. So it would be good to have somebody on there who is more tied in with traditional values, I would say.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. And guys, again, just to share a few more of the fun memes. There's of course Star Wars Episode 4, A New Pope. There's my girl, my celebrity crush girl, Anna Cherie as Princess Slave Leia. She is Playboy Miss October 2015. Check her out, and here she is, all dressed up as Darth Vader. So go for it, Anna. She's a big Star Wars fan. And she's had an alien encounter, so that's really interesting. But it was also Cinco de Mayo this week. Oh, and by the way, the media says there's no evidence that the demon horn man with the Sith tattoos and red lightsaber was a member of the Sith, just like MS-13. Good meme there. We had Lou Elizondo with his ridiculous fake UFO photo. But I wanted to say to everybody there, everybody out there, happy Cinco de Ported yesterday. It's your day. Glad to have you with us. We're really glad for that. But let's listen to what President Trump had to say about Cinco de Mayo just yesterday. Here we go.
My fellow Americans, tu Presidente Favorito, and I wanted to wish you a very happy Cinco de Porto. Cinco de Porto is a tremendous day to all of the illegals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers, and all around bad hombres. Te vamos a sacar de nuestro país, or as I call it, we're getting you the hell out of our country. MS-13, we're getting you the hell out. Tren de Aragua, we're going to get you out, or we're going to put you in Alcatraz. We'll call you Tren de Alcatraz, because we want to reopen Alcatraz. All my beautiful people, they said to me, sir, they said, senor, why do you want to reopen Alcatraz so badly? I said, mi hermano, I got to tell you, you look at it, it's called The Rock. It's named after me. It needs to start acting like it. We are going to rebuild it so beautifully and so strongly and so greatly. We will make Alcatraz great again. We will make America safe again. Thank you. God bless you. Happy Cinco de Porto, and the best is yet to come. Créeme.
I love that guy. I think he's hilarious. To me, he sounds exactly like him. All right, boys, that is it. Happy May the 4th be with you, and happy Cinco de Porto. Any other issues or things you wanted to bring up tonight that we didn't get to?
I'm happy about Magatraz. I think it's a good idea.
I agree. Blake, any other issues that we did not cover today? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brooks. You had more to say. Go ahead.
Well, there was one more thing, and that is that the U.S. military has expanded the Roosevelt Reservation from the border of New Mexico all the way to El Paso, Texas. So now the entire 60-foot wide swath from El Paso to San Diego is now a military base, and it is being run by the U.S. full-time military. And if you step foot on there, you will be arrested and jailed.
That is interesting. Blake, any other issues that you thought were going to come up? I want to know what this big announcement is from Donald Trump. I was shocked by your answer, Brooks. I hope you're correct. It's about time. It would certainly make me very happy, and some other people I know, including Steve Doran, who love and prayers for Steve. Not love, but prayers for Steve. Let's get you to the hospital and get them working on that fever. But any other issues, Blake, that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get around to? And go Timberwolves.
Yeah, go Timberwolves. They should be starting game 1 right now against the Warriors. So I'm looking forward to that series.
Out of here. That's why we're trying to get out of here. Right. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all good. Yeah. And Mike, I think I agree with you there. It's so far, it's kind of been a bit of a slow news week, and we're just waiting for the big announcement from Trump. So keep eyes on that. And I thought the Alcatraz thing was interesting. We'll see if they use that for and who they decide to use it for. So that's interesting news. But yeah, I think that's all I've got. So
okay, yeah. What is this? Somebody did a meme today about Trump and Alcatraz, and it was great. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it again.
Brooks got something.
By the way, that light right there that you see behind me, somebody brought it up, Laura, in the chat room. That is the symbol of Andor. Andor. If you're not aware of this, it's Tuesday, which is new episode Tuesday for Andor season 2.
Andor.
We're now beginning episodes 6, 7, and 8.
Nice.
Yes, and I,
7, 8, 9.
I got caught up with one. Yeah, here's one of them.
It's good. It's really off the chain good. Well directed, well written.
Yeah, except the Empire rapes back now. I got to be honest with Andor. It is Star Wars for grown-ups a little bit. I like that. And but the rapey thing was like, wow. And do we really have sex in Star Wars? I don't know. I guess we do now in the adult Star Wars. But yeah, there's Trump Alcatraz, the new revised Alcatraz. That's one of them, one of the renderings. And the first 3 episodes, there was a lot of soap opera. We spent an awful lot of time at the Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding. And like, this feels like it was written by women, because no man gives a shit about the soap opera stuff. But the story is interesting. It's basically a prequel to Star Wars, and getting finding out about the Death Star, getting the plans of the Death Star, that kind of thing. And
these first 2 seasons are the prequel to Rogue One, and Rogue One is the prequel to Episode 4.
So is it Endor? Am I confused? Is that the Ewok planet from
No,
the
Endor is the Ewok planet, but
Okay.
Andor, Andor, is the show, and it's based on
Cassian's last name, Cassian Andor.
Yeah, the character of Cassian Andor, who was the guy in Rogue One. He looks exactly like David Silva, Spanish midfielder who played 12 years for Manchester City. Looked exactly like him. And it's a good show. It's a good show. And you watch that, followed by Rogue One. It's the best Star Wars you're really going to get, except for Star Wars. It's not corny. It's a bit more grown up. And it's good stuff.
And the crazy thing about Rogue One is the AI that they did it to bring all the characters from the original New Hope back in full form, and except for Princess Leia, they all look super real.
Yeah, well, I thought Peter Cushing as Moff Tarkin looked a little bad too. That again, I think that the AI that they're using, they used in those days in 2017 is. I mean, again, I think that it's a lot better than that. I think even today they make the AI look like AI. They put signatures in there so you can tell it's AI. I bet you the real stuff is imperceptible from reality. So it's going to get interesting. All right. So yes, we can recommend. Andor. Yeah, Cassian Andor, Andor. The show is called Andor, and
that's what that symbol is on my wall.
Yeah, that's what that is. So, anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Sorry about the technical problems. I'm hoping that YouTube and Rumble will correct themselves when they process the video, and you will get the full video on the replay. I hope so. Sorry about those problems. And again, send out some love to Steve Doran. He's very sick. I'm trying to get his girlfriend to take him to the hospital. I have not heard from her. Hopefully I will. Hopefully I will.
Ivermectin.
And I don't know if he has ivermectin. I don't know if he took it. I'll
He
just
does.
say
He
this.
ordered it from me. He's got it.
I'll just say this, Brooks. We went to Sholo, 3 years ago? It'll be 3 years this summer. And when I found out that I could get ivermectin from you, I was trying to get it. This is 2022 or something.
Yeah.
And I've been sick since. Anytime I start feeling like I'm getting a little cold or anything of the flu, I take the ivermectin and it goes away every time. So I want to let Blake get out of here. I do have maybe one more thing to talk to you about, but everybody have a good time. Mike wants to lay... Okay, ask Anna. It's Anna. Have a great one. Have a great week. I'll be back tomorrow. I have a shit ton of intel about the currency reset tomorrow for the show. Tell the Truth Wednesday. Tell the Truth Wednesday on Real News Live. I'll be doing it solo because Jen's still on vacation. But if you're interested in that subject, tune in because I have a lot of things to tell you, a lot of things I've been cleared to tell you, and it may even be irrelevant. I may not even need to tell you any intel because we may be in the middle of it. It's possible. We'll see. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow and also on Whiskey and Whiskey.